Wind in Truth had some crazy moments, some of which I think need a reread to fully appreciate. So in this video, I want to talk about some of my favorite moments of the book and breaks down exactly why I think they're so good. And I also did a video where I talk about some of the moments in Wind in Truth that I didn't quite like, which I'll link to down below. And I'm interested in your thoughts about whether you enjoyed the moments that I talk about in this video and whether they really spoke to you or not. And so with that, let's get into it. And if it isn't clear already, this video will include spoilers for the Wind in Truth, or actually all of the Stormlight archive up through the end of Wind in Truth. So the first thing that I really liked in the book was Adolin's entire arc. I thought Adolin's entire storyline, his character development as he fought to save Azir, was just so well done. And I thought it really capped what we learned about him over the course of the entire series. Because in world, and as readers, I think it's easy to dismiss Adolin. He's kind of like a fancy, foppy prince that likes fashion, and it feels like everything is like pretty easy for him. But actually, if you really break it down, his father killed his mother. His uncle was killed by an assassin. He's married to a person with essentially like multiple personalities. He stabs Sadius, and he never formed a radiant bond, even when all of the people around him are forming radiant bonds. And so there's a nice moment in my mind, which is kind of the start of Adolin's growth in the book, where when Dalinar calls a meeting, Adolin is spending all his time resentfully ruminating on how it's right that the other monarchs should condemn Dalinar for not being perfect, essentially. And then Yanagon, the leader of Azir, basically shows Dalinar a moment of grace, and it prompts Adolin to have a level of self-awareness and self-reflection that he's not showing the same maturity that other characters have developed in the book. And so I think what we saw in Wind in Truth was a combination of that growth and that self-reflection, coupled with what we've already known about Adolin's consistent style in treating people, swords, spren, horses with respect. And so he's just a people person, and I think we see that really nicely in Wind in Truth. So I think this is actually setting Adolin up in the second set of the series to be Honor, or the new kind of self-aware shard of Honor, in part because Adolin's growth and self-reflection about what honor is and what oaths are really mirror and reflect the same pathway that it seems like the Shard of Honor is taking. The second thing I really liked in the book was Taln. And we essentially see Taln in two vignettes over the course of Wind in Truth. One is in the spiritual realm, where he somewhat reluctantly accepts the Oath Pact, essentially only because somebody needed to do it and he was willing to step up to be that person. And then 4,500 years later, we see Taln maintain that Oath Pact when Abadi makes an order to slaughter the wounded in a makeshift hospital in Azir, and for the first time in over 4,000 years, Taln, as the bearer of agonies, fights back to defend those wounded. The third thing that I really liked was the reveal about Channa, or Channarak, as Shallan's mother. And this had been predicted, I think, by the fan base heading into Wind in Truth, and could have easily been done in a way that kind of ended up being a letdown. But I actually think that the gentle, kind of slow way that it was presented in Wind in Truth was really nicely done. I really enjoyed how all the facts around the desolation and the heralds were slowly adding up to basically confirm Channa as Shallan's mother before Shallan actually confronts it herself. And I think this was really nice because it confirms that one, Taln never actually broke under torture while on Braze, and then two, that one of the heralds died the same night as Gavilar's assassination, which in of itself was a crazy night with a lot of moving parts, and I think it added a whole other layer to everything that happened both in Kholinar and across Roshar that night. So I'd love to hear what some of your favorite moments were. And if you like this video, please hit like and please subscribe to the channel. And I have more Cosmere content coming, so please keep watching. Thanks, everyone.